Lost media is very interesting and sometimes can be disturbing. These are my favorite videos to make, and whether it's researching for one of my interesting pieces of lost media videos, or for my new series, The Lost Media of, I've come across the dark section of the Lost Media wiki. These topics have piqued my interest lately as they range from real events to banned cartoons. So now, it's time for something new. Today, Stay Up Late Productions presents to you 5 pieces of dark lost media. Hair Ribbon is a Merry Melodies cartoon that was first released in 1944. It centers around Bugs Bunny and a hound dog. Bugs Bunny torments the dog in different ways, driving him crazy. If you've ever watched cartoons from this era, then you know most of them consist of violence and controversial plot lines. Hair Ribbon is no different. At the end of the cartoon, the hound dog bites into a sandwich that has Bugs Bunny inside of it. Bugs Bunny then fakes his death. This leaves the hound dog feeling remorseful and he regrets what he has just done. He begins to cry and says that he should have been the one to die. Following this, Bugs Bunny immediately rises up and asks, "Hey, do you mean it?" Pulling out a revolver, putting it into the hound's mouth, and then pulling the trigger. Bugs then puts a flower on the dog's chest before dancing off screen. At the very end of the episode, the fourth wall is broken, as the hound dog says, "This shouldn't even happen to a dog." When Bob Clampett turned in the episode, the censoring office found the ending very disturbing. They decided that the segment of Bugs Bunny putting a round in the hound dog's cranium was not acceptable. This ending was never shown on television. A bizarre decision was made, and the new ending goes like this. When the dog starts crying and wishing he died instead of Bugs Bunny, Bugs pulls out the gun and this time offers it to the hound dog. The dog takes the gun and points it at his own head, committing suicide. Remember, this cartoon was created in the 1940s, so there wasn't a big focus on suicide like there is today. I guess this is how the alternate ending made it past censors. I still find it crazy that this made it to television. In 1956, the short was purchased by the AAP as it was included in the Warner Bros. Cartoon catalog. From this point on, Hair Ribbon was aired with the ending completely removed. It was replaced with a shot of the hound dog laying down on the ground. The original ending was stored in Warner Bros. Archives and was considered lost for almost 50 years. The episode containing the original ending was finally released in 1997 on a Laserdisc titled The Golden Age of Looney Tunes. However, Laserdiscs are very obscure and never caught on like DVDs. So, this release of the lost episode flew under the radar. Finally, in 2007, Looney Tunes fans could breathe a sigh of relief, as the original and alternate ending of Hair Ribbon was released on DVD on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection, putting this piece of lost media to rest. In 1999, during a taping of SmackDown, Darren Drozdov and D'Lo Brown were having a match when a terrible accident happened. D'Lo Brown's finishing move is the running powerbomb, a maneuver where you lift up the opponent and their legs are resting on your shoulders. You then take a few running steps forward and then drop your opponent to the ground. On this night, D'Lo would attempt his finisher on Droz. D'Lo wasn't able to get Droz up on his shoulders and fell forward, dropping Droz on his head. This fractured 2 vertebrae in his neck, putting an end to his promising career, and leaving him paralyzed from the neck down. Former WWE General Manager Teddy Long was the referee for this match. He recalled the accident in an interview, saying that when it happened, Droz was telling him that he felt like he was about to die, also stating that he really liked Droz and it was a shame that this happened. Soon after this tragic night, D'Lo and Droz talked about what happened, and agreed to not watch the tape of the match. The two are friends still to this day. After this happened, D'Lo was pretty messed up over it mentally, and considered quitting wrestling. Him and Jim Ross had a sit down and JR told him, We've already lost one career from this. Let's not lose another. D'Lo continued wrestling, but his career was never the same after this. He was released from the WWE in February of 2003. This tragic accident has been discussed before, so now I'm going to give you my analysis of what really happened that night and why. Over the years, fans have speculated that D'Lo slipped on something a fan threw in the ring, or that the accident happened because of the loose shirt that Draws was wearing. Draws has stated in interviews that he was wearing a loose shirt during the match, but in my eyes, this was a botch caused by D'Lo Brown. Usually, when you see wrestlers doing a powerbomb, especially as a finishing move, they are tall, muscular, heavyweight wrestlers, such as Batista and The Undertaker. D'Lo Brown has a short, chubby build, and he simply did not possess the strength to pull off a powerbomb on a heavyweight wrestler. Case in point, one night me and my brother were watching old wrestling matches on YouTube, and came across the Royal Rumble. D'Lo Brown and Grandmaster Sexy were in the ring. D'Lo goes for the running powerbomb, and almost drops Grandmaster on his head. Seeing this botch convinced me that D'Lo should have never been doing this move. While editing this video and looking for more footage of D'Lo, I came across a match with him and Val Venus in SummerSlam of 1998. During the match, D'Lo goes for his powerbomb and doesn't have the strength to get Val Venus up. He lowers him down and then just drops him on his head. When the D'Lo and Draws match was taped, it wasn't live TV, so the WWE was able to edit the show. The entire match was removed and it was never shown. The only footage that can be viewed of this match is during the "Do Not Try This at Home" video that WWE used for years. Former WWE interviewer Kevin Kelly stated that the tape of the accident is being held in WWE's archives inside of a box that reads "Never View, Copy, or Destroy." If you study this photo enough, you can see how D'Lo Brown messed up this move. Before we move on to the next topic, I also want to mention that D'Lo Brown did an interview last year with Chris Van Vliet, and in that interview, he was asked about the Draws match. He mentions that him and Draws recently watched the match, so I'm assuming that Draws owns a copy of the tape. For obvious reasons, I'm not 100% sure if this will ever be released to the public, and I'm not sure if it should be. Rob Harris was known for sky surfing in the 90s, as he was the sky surfing world champion in 1994 and 1995. Mountain Dew wanted to use him for a commercial titled 007. During the commercial, Rob would wear a suit and jump out of a plane like James Bond, then use a parachute to land safely. When commercials like this are filmed, several takes are done in order to get the perfect shot. During one take, Rob jumped from the plane and his parachute lines got tangled. He wasn't able to deploy the parachute and fell 5,000 feet to his death. PepsiCo, who owns Mountain Dew, reached out to the parents of Rob Harris asking for permission to air the commercial. They responded saying Rob would have wanted it and his friends really look forward to seeing it, and so do we now. The commercial aired and rumors began to spread around that the ad used footage from the deadly jump. This was debunked by people who were present on the day of filming. Even though this footage isn't from the fatal jump, it was still gut-wrenching for me to watch this, knowing that moments later things went terribly wrong. The footage of Rob Harris jumping to his death has never been discussed by PepsiCo or Rob Harris's family. This footage is lost, but because they were filming a commercial, we know 100% that his fall was filmed. On the positive side of things, the Rob Harris Foundation was created in memory of Rob, and there are many songs that are dedicated to his death. Brandon Bruce Lee was an actor and martial artist. He is the one and only son of Bruce Lee. He followed in his father's footsteps, training with Bruce Lee's students in martial arts. Brandon went to Emerson College and the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute to study acting, making his on-screen debut in 1986 in the film titled Kung Fu the Movie. Over the next few years, Lee would do a few movies and build up his image. Finally, in 1992, he landed an amazing lead role as Eric Draven in The Crow. As the crew were wrapping up filming the movie, tragedy struck just days before the film's completion. While doing a final scene, Brandon Lee was shot by a prop gun that misfired. A bullet casing was lodged in the barrel of the prop gun, and when a blank was fired, it pushed the bullet out at almost the same force as a live round. After getting shot in the scene, it was written for Brandon to fall forward, but instead he fell backwards. The director yelled "cut," and the crew noticed that Lee didn't get up. Upon checking on him, they found he was unconscious and breathing heavily. 3 minutes later, his pulse was gone. Despite several hours of emergency surgery in an attempt to revive him, there was nothing anyone could do. Brandon Lee was dead. The Crow was finished using stunt doubles and some CGI effects. It was a very successful movie, and I'm glad we can see Brandon Lee's final outstanding performance. The scene containing the fatal shot has never been seen publicly. It's been said that the director of The Crow demanded the tape of the accident be destroyed. However, more than one person who was on set said this isn't true. One person who worked on the movie claims to own a copy of the full film, including Lee's death. Seeing as this is tied to a popular movie, I doubt this footage will ever see the light of day. The Crocodile Hunter Steve Irwin was a wildlife expert, environmentalist, and TV personality that is well known for his show The Crocodile Hunter. During this, Steve and his wife Terry rescue animals and explore wildlife. The Crocodile Hunter became the #1 show on Animal Planet, and Steve Irwin became a household name. On September 4th in 2006, Steve was filming for a new documentary series titled Ocean's Deadliest. While being filmed, he decided to go snorkeling in shallow water. Irwin began swimming alongside a stingray so he could get a video of it swimming away from him. Keep in mind that one of Steve Irwin's main rules for his camera crew was to never stop filming, no matter what happens. Steve Irwin began filming the very last scene for the day, and while swimming over the huge stingray, it reacted in defense to Steve's shadow, striking him in the chest more than 100 times within a few seconds. Steve's right-hand man, Justin Lyons, recorded the whole thing and explained the accident, saying, "After the attack, he filmed the stingray swimming away, and when he panned the camera back to Steve, he seen him in a pool of blood. Irwin then stood up and said, 'It's punctured my lung.' The crew got Steve back onto the yacht and seen he had a puncture wound over his heart that was leaking blood. As they were riding back to shore to get Steve to the hospital, the crew were saying positive things like, 'Think of your kids.' Steve Irwin then looked up to Justin Lyons and calmly said, 'I'm dying.' These were Steve's last words as he passed away seconds later. The video footage of Steve's death was given to authorities. It was then returned to the Irwin family and apparently destroyed. Over the years, a few terrible videos have popped up on YouTube titled Steve Irwin Real Death Footage. Every one of these I watched are obviously fake, despite usually having over 1 million views. 3 alleged screenshots from the video have surfaced online. After hearing the story, these look like they could be from the actual video, but this has never been confirmed. To me, this is similar to the Owen Hart fall video. It's a terrible accident, and we heard firsthand what happened, but the mystery element just makes you want to see the lost tapes. In conclusion of this video, I would like to say rest in peace to Brandon Lee, Steve Irwin, and Rob Harris. They all 3 seem like great people that left this earth too early. That is 5 dark pieces of lost media. Hit that subscribe button for more lost media content, and until next time, stay up late productions.